as I look at the culture right now, as I look at politics right now, the tide is turning. It is turning in our direction. Republicans get voted out of office when they don't deliver on their promises. Democrats get voted out of office when they do deliver on their promises, when they actually do what they believe. That is when we start to get rid of them. We don't want to be socialist slaves. We want to be independent capitalists who make our own way in the world. We don't want our children groomed for abnormal sex. We don't want the government to make our decisions for us. The Democrats, they always lie about who they are. They always say they're moderates. Oh, it's Lunch Bucket Joe. And then they turn leftist the minute they get power. That's what's happened again. We don't want it. We don't want any of it. They tell us there's a crisis. Racism is a crisis. Sunshine is a crisis. Boys not wearing dresses is a crisis. Everything's a crisis, and the government has to take care of it. They can get bent, and we know it. People are saying this. It is coming out when Bill Maher is appearing on Ben Shapiro's show. You know that people are waking up. They don't know our lives. They can't do our work. They're wrong about everything. Their values stink. They're locusts. They inherited a great country, and they destroy everything, every single thing that they touch. This administration is in free fall, and I don't mean politically it is in free fall. There was a new poll out that says that Biden's support is now down to, I think, 3 child molesters and Bill Kristol. But more than that, the Green New Deal is done. We see now, because of Ukraine, we see now that it makes us weak. It makes us weak to stop producing what we can produce. Europe wants to free itself of Russian oil. Our gas costs are $6 and plus in some places. Biden is crawling to tyrants, asking them for the oil that we could be producing. Yesterday, he announced that he's going to tap into the strategic oil reserves, trying desperately to bring down prices. That's not going to work. He made this speech. He did it again today, where he blamed the high prices on oil on Trump. He blamed it on COVID. He blamed it on Putin. He's the guy. He shut down drilling in the Arctic National Wildlife Reserve. He shut down the permits for the Keystone XL pipeline. He told the industry that he was going to hunt them from pillar to post. And so they don't want to take chances if they're going to get shut down. And then they blame them. It's really gaslighting. They blame the oil industry. He promised to do all this stuff. And now we see the world needs American oil. It needs American energy. Here is his own Biden's own economic advisor, Brian Deese, is cut 11.
We need more supply of oil in the short term so that we can bring down prices, because it is the case that the gas is up about $1 because we have shut off access to Russian oil to the global market. We've done that. It's the right thing to do. Democrats and Republicans alike supported that effort to end imports of Russian oil. And now we have to bring more supply on. That's about U.S. production. It's also about using our reserves and working with producing countries around the world. That's exactly what we're doing.
It's not, but still, at least they're talking about it, because the Green New Deal is done. They're not going to get elected on the Green New Deal again. Defund the police is done. Crime is skyrocketing. Even the insane governor of New York is thinking of rescinding their horrible bail reform that is letting people back out on the street. Globalism is done. We now know that China and Russia are acting in concert. They said so. It's now impossible to ignore the statement they put out before the Olympics, where they said we are going to basically take the world back from the United States. North Korea and Iran are on their team. Globalism is not a thing. There is no such thing as international law. There is no such thing as all the countries just being the same and just dealing in trade. That's not the way the world works. Now we remember there's a battle of cultures, and we have to fight our culture. They can keep winning on the America is racist meme as long as black people go along. But I don't know how long that's going to go. Every time I look around, I see that people, anywhere there's not leftist activists, people in America get along. They intermarry. They like each other. They're friends together. You see it all the time. Only the Democrats think that we have to hate each other because it's another crisis that gives them more power. And most importantly, and I think it's most important because it is deepest in human nature, this perverse, dishonest, destructive, hellish idea of human sexuality has been exposed, and it's done. Mommy came home. She is not going to be chased off. She's not going to be terrorized by the FBI. She's going to protect her children like moms do. You cannot stop her. And the fact that they have made an enemy of parents is going to bring them down. So look, it not just looks like we're going to win the midterm election. I hope that's going to happen. But this is a unique probably once in a generation chance to turn back the culture. And I'm not talking about turning back the culture to the 1940s. I'm talking about turning it back to the future, of remembering what we're about so we can go into the future in accordance with our traditions. A future, freedom is tolerant of difference. That is true. The left says that. That is true. We should be tolerant of difference, all kinds of differences, cultural differences. But that tolerance depends on a core, a solid core, maybe even a majority core of God-fearing, moral mom and dad families, because that's what tradition created. That's how we got freedom in the first place, right? And by the way, that's also a good life instead of the bad life that the left wants us to lead. So this is our moment. We're on the march. I'm going to talk about Jeremy, the God King, his announcement that we're going to start doing stuff for kids in response to what Disney is doing. I'll talk more about that as the show goes on, because this is an important part of it, this culture stuff. But if we're going to do that, we have to know, if we're going to start producing content, if we're going to start putting forward a culture, if we're going to start governing and not having this usual thing where the Republicans win and they keep telling us, oh no, we can't do anything because we don't have the presidency, we don't have the Senate, we don't have the House, oh, we have all those things, we still can't do anything. If we don't want to do that, we have to know what we are for. It is a lot of fun and addictive to attack the left because they're disgusting, but it's too easy. We have to remember what we are about. If we all we are is a reaction to what they are, they win, because they're defining us, right? They define us if we just react to them. If they tell us that men should be pansies and we respond by having men become promiscuous brutes, they win. They won. That's it. They've defined us. If they riot in the name of Black Lives Matter and we answer that by becoming racist, they have won because they have defined us. If they bring on moral chaos, which is what they're trying to do in order to take power, and we respond by elevating thugs and villains like Vladimir Putin, who make a big show of morality and religion while bombing maternity hospitals, then they have won and they define us. We have to define ourselves. We cannot, and we can't despair. We can't have this thing of this despair. I hate this thing that conservatives do where they say, it's over, it's done, the ship is sinking, get off the ship. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. We have to remember what we're for. And that's why I'm talking about the stuff that I'm going to be talking about today. I've said this before. I will say it again. I'm not in despair. I'm actually more hopeful at this moment than I have been in years. This has been a bad period, but right now I'm incredibly hopeful that the tide is turning. I think we can win back our country. And if we lose, if we sink into the mud, the last thing you are going to see is my fist, because I am not giving up on this country for a second. I think we can win back the country. We can lose that fight, but again, we can't win a surrender. For more great content, subscribe to the Andrew Klavan Podcast, and get my new book, The Truth and Beauty: How the Lives and Works of England's Greatest Poets Point the Way to a Deeper Understanding of the Words of Jesus. It will change your life for the better.